Okay, now I'm recording the video so we can share this if anybody misses it, or I'll share the video with you guys once we're done with the meeting. So this evening we've got two big things that we're going to go over. So part one is a brief introduction to the program, and then part two is all the important information that you'll need for the school year. I'll share this presentation with you. Once you see this introduction, if you want to go to part two with the bits, the important bits and pieces, you can just simply click on part two. It'll take you right to the important stuff. So part one, some background about the program. So first of all, me. So my name is Mr. McGee. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Architecture from Ohio State. I graduated from there in 2005. I've got a Master's of Architecture from a place called Pratt Institute that's in Brooklyn, New York. I graduated from there in 2008. And I added it up, and I've got 20 years of experience now. So I have about equal parts teaching and working in architectural firms. The other thing that is important to know about me is that in the year 2000, I graduated from the architecture program. So this is actually me when I was a junior in high school. Don't copy. We still do this project. We still do this bridge. But that's not a very good one to copy. So you don't want to copy my work. But that is me when I was a junior. My cat's decided to join us. Let me move the cat out of the way. Okay, so while you're in this program, we've got several different, this will prepare you for several different career paths. So it's a college prep trajectory.
Cat.
To prepare you for architecture or construction management. That's in our title. But we also want to prepare you to be interior designers, urban planners, and structural engineers. And the idea about the program is that you will, excuse me, again, I was asleep for like 3 hours before the meeting started and now suddenly decided to wake up. So we want to prepare you for several different careers in the design and construction industry and give you an overview of these careers based. Hold on, excuse me.
Take the cat out.
I've never seen the cat act like this. So we'll be doing several different projects in our program that will prepare you for a number of these careers. There's a lot of overlap. So this program will serve as a foundation for college. So you'll get 2 credits for a 3D design course, and that's transferable to any college after high school. And then many of the topics that we cover will give you a head start on the things that you're going to learn in college in one of these design fields. So types of students that we look for. So students that are creative, students that love to build and create things, students that rearrange their room all of the time, students that play Minecraft or play with Legos. So these are all pretty strong indicators that this is a good place for you to be. And all the people that will be joining you probably are also interested in all of these items. So class structure, so it's 96 minutes in length. And it's very heavily project-based learning. So you'll be working on your own design projects. I'll be assisting you. I'll be teaching you new techniques, but it's a design project that is of your creation and your creativity. So you'll be working with professionals. There'll be.
They mentioned Minecraft players. is a good one.
And then there'll be a lot of work with professionals. So you'll have a mentor in your senior year. You'll be out visiting architectural firms. You'll be taking field trips. All right, a classroom. So it's unfortunate that we're doing this Zoom meeting. So it's always a great opportunity on the orientation evening all of the students in here have been to the classroom at one point or another. And I think all of the students think that the classroom is pretty sweet. I think it's the best classroom at Gahanna Lincoln High School. And so the students, I think I could use your help now to tell your parents how nice of a workspace that we have, how bright and how sunny it is. So it's really unfortunate that we can't show off that space, but we're located at Clark Hall. So this is actually catty corner from the main Gahanna Lincoln High School. So students will take classes at Gahanna Lincoln High School, and then when the bell rings, they walk across the street to Clark. And all the classes at Clark Hall are double blocked. So it's very common for students to go back and forth between those buildings. And then we actually have beachfront property at Clark Hall. So we're on the corner facing the high school. And we get lots of sunlight. We see lots of traffic. And so here's what the view would be if we were in our classroom this evening. Once you have time on your own, you can click on this link. And I've got a nice panorama shot of Clark Hall, so you can take a look at the space that we have. And students, you can try to pick out your seats if you want over the summer. And I guess it's first come, first serve. All right, so that's our classroom. Junior year, you'll be doing some hands-on work. You'll be getting basics. We'll be doing hand drafting. We'll do model building by hand. And then we'll quickly get into the computer. And senior year, we'll have very advanced projects. So they'll be building on the foundations that you started junior year, but they'll be much more complex. And then you also have a senior project. So senior project is a chance for you to pick whatever type of career that you're interested in or whatever type of project you're interested in. And then you'll work with a mentor one-on-one, and then you'll design a project hopefully for a career that you want to go into. So this student, her name is Tegan, and this was her presentation for her senior project. She actually built the aquarium that's in our classroom. And I just got a note from her. She just graduated from Ohio State, and she was going to go into construction management. She did this senior project, and now she's going into some sort of a horticulture field, and she's about to move to Cincinnati to work for some large plant grower. So I always like to share that project because this senior project literally changed her life and helped her decide what she wanted to do for a career. Some of the technology that we'll be using. So we use SketchUp, and it's like a very easy 3D modeling program. We also use AutoCAD, and then we'll use Revit. Have any of you guys out there used any of these programs or heard of these programs? Yeah, Jordan, did you raise your hand? Which one did you use?
I used SketchUp before.
Cool. Sage, what about you?
I used something very similar to AutoCAD in like an engineering class.
Was it Inventor?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was Inventor.
Cool, very cool. So then we also use 3D printers. So we do less hand model building now, and we do more 3D printing. And so the career is going in that direction, or the career field goes in that direction. Our program also will go in that direction. We also have on order some virtual reality goggles. So right before we left, we got in some Xbox controllers in our classroom so that you could see your 3D models in a virtual reality environment. The goggles never got ordered because the school got shut down. So hopefully we'll pick that thing back up once we come back to school next year. So mentorship, I mentioned this. So as a senior, during the senior project, you'll be working with a mentor one-on-one for your project. You get a very close relationship with these people, and there have been people where this leads to a career or a job at that architectural firm. You'll be doing a lot of presentations. So you've got your work that you'll be doing. You also have to share that work with your peers. So we'll be prepping you if public speaking is a thing that makes you nervous. We'll build up to it, so don't worry. Alumni. So we've got graduates all over the state of Ohio. Like I said, this program has been around for 23 years now. We have 328 graduates from our program. So we've got people working all across the country. Once you check this thing out on your own time, you can also see where our graduates have gone to. So our first class graduated in '99. We've got 328 graduates. And then you can see a large number go to Ohio State. That's not surprising. A large number go into architecture, but then business is also a pretty high indicator or high career field on this, or from our graduates. So students that like to go into running their own business or running their own office, it's pretty common that business is a field that they go into. And then we've got students all over the state of Ohio, which means next year when you start to check out colleges, we can get you in touch with students that have been there or are at the colleges that you're interested in. And then you get the behind the scenes tour of what that place is actually like. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Okay. I'm used to doing this presentation to a room of people that actually can talk with me instead of me speaking at a screen. It's kind of weird on this end. So professional connections. So this is another super duper important piece that you'll get out of this program. So we've been around for a long time. We've got a lot of people that have come through this program, and we're very well known in the architectural community, in Columbus especially. So it's a very small, tight-knit group of architects in town. It's not a huge profession. And we've got friends at all of the largest offices in town. So if you would like to have an internship or do job shadowing or know somebody that knows somebody, there's a good chance that we can connect you with any of the high-powered people in Columbus in this career field. Does anybody know anybody that work at any of these offices? Any relatives or anything? Okay. All right, we're almost finished with part one. By being in this program, we also participate in a thing called SkillsUSA. This is very similar to DECA that you might have at your own schools. And we'll have leadership opportunities. So we have a class president, we have a treasurer, we fundraise for field trips. We were planning to go to Cedar Point 10 days from now with the class, and then that obviously got canceled. This coming year, we're planning to go to Falling Water. Have you guys heard of Falling Water by Frank Lloyd Wright? It's a house. It's a pretty famous home in Pennsylvania. So the plan will be for us to go there next year as a group. So we'll be fundraising and organizing that through our SkillsUSA chapter. There's also an opportunity to compete. So students compete in an architectural drafting competition, and we usually do pretty good in that competition. Okay. Any questions up to this point? So this was supposed to just be a general overview of the program. It's a pretty good time to stop and ask any general questions. Okay. Hi, Teresa. Thanks for joining us. And maybe she can't hear. Okay, so moving into part two. This would be for all of the nuts and bolts about the program, ways to get in touch with me, and then some of the very nitty-gritty details about coming to a class at Gahanna Lincoln High School. So my contact information, so I'm Mr. McGee. My email address is jmcgee@efcts. Some of you may have received emails from me from a GJPS email. You can always email me at that as well. And then my phone number is on here. This is a Google Voice number, so feel free to call or text me, especially over the summer. If you've got any questions about the program, never hesitate to reach out to me. And then Remind, we've got a Remind group already started for next year, and I'll I'll be sharing this link with you, and you can join that as well. So here's the Remind group. I don't know if are you able to click on this link from my screen right now?
Nope.
Okay. So I'll share this with you. You'll be able to come back and click to join that group. So attendance is a big thing to communicate. So although we are a program of Eastland Career Center, everything that we do for our calendar follows the Gahanna Lincoln schedule. So if Eastland has a snow day, I still have to show up at work, and you have to come to school. If Gahanna has a day off of school, but Eastland does, we get the day off of school. So everything that we do will follow the Gahanna Lincoln calendar. So there's a link here. You can pull it up. It shows the calendar for next year. We'll show the date for spring break is always an important one. So 3/29 to 4/2. So for better or worse, the thing to keep in mind is like we have spring break at this time, and that may conflict with the spring break that you have at your home school if you're not at Gahanna, but you're expected to come to be at school with us. The Gahanna Lincoln Bell schedule is here. So you can see what times the classes should be offered. All right, so the important thing for the students, so in bold, this is for the students. So you guys are all over the place. We've got students from, I think, 8 different schools joining us in our program this coming year. So by being part of the program, you've got some additional responsibilities that are on you. So you'll be going between schools, you'll be going back and forth. So what this does is prepares you to be a professional. And so the important thing to do is to communicate. So you see communicate is underlined on this slide 3 times, and it's really up to the student to start communicating what their schedule is. So if you have to be away for a band competition, then you need to communicate that with us. If you are in a sports event, just communicate with me. That way I know where you're at. So it's an additional responsibility, but I like to think that students that come into and come through our programs are a little bit better to equipped with the real world when you come out, because you need to take on these additional responsibilities and these additional means of communicating. All right, so class schedule. So there's 2 junior sections, and then there's 1 senior section. So what that means is that as a junior, there's 2 different groups, and then senior year, you'll combine into 1 group. So we've got 16 students coming to us next year. I think that's the perfect number of students to have in the program. But then as senior year, you'll all be in 1 group. So the junior sections are from 9:32 to 11:08 in the morning, or 1:14 to 2:50 in the afternoon. And then the senior section is first thing in the morning. And so what that really does is if you're coming from another school, that gives you the ability to come to Gahanna as a junior at the very end of the day and take all of your classes at your home school if that's what you prefer. Or as a senior, come right at the beginning of the morning and then have the option to go back to your home school. Does that make sense to everybody, or does that bring up any questions at the moment? All right, good. So on here, there's a link to a form to select your intent. So you just pop in your name, your program, and then really the important thing is, where do you plan to take your academic classes? So many of you are coming from a different school other than Gahanna. And so what this means is that you have the option to either take all of your classes all day long at Gahanna Lincoln High School, or take my class and then go back to your home school and take classes at Pickerington or Whitehall or wherever it is that you may be coming from. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's really up to you. If you change your mind, like let's say this year you decide to go back to your home school, then you realize that everybody joining our program is really awesome and you like hanging out with everybody in the program and you want to switch, then the following year you can take all of your classes at Gahanna. With that being said, if you, let's say you're coming from Whitehall and you decide that you want to spend your entire day at Gahanna taking your classes, you're still a Whitehall student. So if you're a wrestler at Whitehall, if you play soccer at Whitehall, you're still a member of Whitehall. You're just taking your academic classes at a different school. All right, you guys have any questions? Usually that brings up some questions. All right. Let's see, we're getting through here. So this slide, I guess slide 29, this is probably the most important slide for a large portion of you. So the students that are, if you're from Gahanna, the important information for you on this slide is right here. You should be applying for your parking pass next year. However, if you're not from Gahanna, this whole portion up here is super duper important, and it's probably the most important next step for you in the process in joining us. I'll be sending out reminder emails, but if you are coming from any other school and you're not already a Gahanna student, step one is there's a link here to a scheduling form. And so what we need you to do is fill out this form and then send this to the Gahanna Lincoln guidance counselor. So typically on these evenings at the orientation, the guidance counselor would be sitting in a classroom next door. If you're not from Gahanna, you would go fill out this piece of paper and you turn this in right away. Since we can't be with one another, this is an additional responsibility that is on you, unfortunately. So you got to fill this thing out. And then what this will do is it gets you into Gahanna's system. So this will give you a Gahanna student ID, and then this will allow you to register for a parking pass. So you see that link down here. So you have to do this simply to be a student of the program. So occasionally we have students that don't take classes at their homes, or that only come to my class for the homeschool. But let me back up. I just tripped over my words. Occasionally, let's say if you never take a class at Gahanna, but you only come from my program, it's still super duper important that you get registered as a Gahanna student so that you have that ID. And really that is a liability issue if we have a fire drill or something like that, that just gets you into their system. So everybody has to go through that step. Additionally, there's an orientation letter from the Gahanna guidance counselors. And this gives all of the information that you would need to register and get set up into the Gahanna system. It looks like Gahanna says May 31st, so they're giving you 2 extra days instead of May 29th. But we need this for the student ID number, the parking pass, and then academic classes at Gahanna, should you decide to do that. Do you guys have any questions for me regarding that? All right, wonderful. All right, so like I said, slide 29, probably the most important thing for the evening and the most important next step. So transportation, to come to our program, you have to have your own form of transportation. So I know the other Career Center programs, you can take a bus from any of the schools, like you can take a bus from Gahanna to Eastland or Fairfield. For the satellite programs like mine or the ones at Reynoldsburg or other schools, you have to provide your own transportation. Whether that's driving your own car or having your parent drop you off or taking the COTA bus, by hook or by crook, you got to get yourself to the program. There's not busing over to Gahanna. Are there any questions regarding that? All right, guys, we're very close to being done. So on this one-day EFCTS website that was sent out previously, I've got a couple of student FAQs. We've got, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's really all that I have. So at this time, the floor is yours. Are there questions, comments?
Sounds exciting.
Was that Sage?
Yep.
Thanks, Sage. You get extra credit for chiming in.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
All right, well, let me do this before we jump off, before anybody gets off. So I took attendance at the beginning of the meeting, and I know a few of you joined afterwards. So let me just make sure that the people that were missing didn't pop in. So Jordan Birchnell, are you here?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jordan. Nice for you to join us. Kennedy Fleming,
I'm here.
was that a here from Kennedy?
Yeah.
All right. Jacob Harriman. Kirsten Marks.
Yep, we're here.
Whoa, Jacob, you're here? Okay, I see you. Kirsten Marks and Mariana Reynolds. All right, well, if you guys have a question, pop in. I have one closing thought. This program really is like a family. So I know like this year in particular, we have more students coming from other school districts than we do from Gahanna. So there's more people from out of district than at Gahanna. So being part of this program, you'll be part of a family. So there's going to be other students like you if you're nervous about coming from another school. There's going to be people from my program. And then next door, we have a bioscience program, and we also have teaching professions. So there's 3 programs at Gahanna that are set up like ours. That means for all 3 of those programs, we have students coming from all these different school districts. So it really prepares you. It's like a family. Who's Jordan? Jordan, who is that on your camera? You're laughing at me because I messed up there we go. Oh, that was you. But this is really like a family. So we'll be coming together. And you'll be with other people like you. You'll be with similar people, and like you'll be with other people. It's not a strange environment to come into. Does that make any sense, or does that ease any fears maybe? All right, guys. Well, that really is the last thing I have to say. Are there any questions that are out there?
I actually have a question.
Yeah, Kennedy, go ahead.
So if you're at your school and you're doing half and half,
Yeah.
for juniors, do you get to choose if you go to your class in the afternoon and in the morning?
Absolutely, yeah. And so
Okay.
Back here on slide 28, we've got this thing that says, please complete this form to select your intent. And if you click on this, it takes you to a Google Doc. And then at the very, very bottom, you can choose the session if you want to be in morning or if you want to be in the afternoon.
So are we going to be shared this Google Doc?
I don't think so. No, I doubt it. Do you have a
It's
friend
on
that
the
you're hoping that
day.
you come in with?
Well, no, I was just wondering because I wanted to do it in the morning,
Uh-huh.
so that's why.
Teresa, were you saying something? Okay, my supervisor was on the line. Okay. Are there, Scott, did you have a question?
I was just going to say to Kennedy, I think we received an email, or maybe the parents received an email with that link to
Uh-huh.
sign up for a class schedule.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Scott. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna send out this Google slide that has all these links in it, so you'll be able to access all of these things. And I'll try to make like an email that gives like a rundown of next steps and do like to make it a little bit more parsed out so that you know, okay, thing 1, thing 2 to do. And I think that's it, unless there's any final questions. Okay, so the important thing then is that if you guys have any questions at all, this is my contact information. You should have started to get emails from me. If you've got any questions, like you should never hesitate to reach out to me. I don't like always have all of the answers to the questions, but I can always plug you into the right person that will be able to answer that question. So I know you've dealt with probably several people through Eastland Career Center at this point, but now like you're part of the family and we're now in this together. So like if you've got any question at all, don't hesitate to ever reach out to me. Email is probably best, but I know that's not always best for you guys, so I'm here for whatever you need. And any question that you may have, feel free to contact me. I may not have the answer right away, but we're all in this together, and I'm on the same team as you now, and we're all part of the ACM family. All right, guys, I guess that's it. So I guess have a good summer with whatever we're allowed to do over the summer, and I'll see you in the fall. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem, Kennedy.
See ya.
Thanks, Sage. Thanks for talking in the meeting. I appreciate that, man.
All right, no problem.
All right, dude. Have a good one.
You too.